I welcome all the students to the second lecture of AC circuits under steady state. In this lecture, we are going to study about power factor and behavior of circuit when we apply a AC source across resistor, inductor and capacitor and their combinations in series and parallel. Now, we already know that R, L and C represent different kind of energies or power. Like R represent heat energy or heat power, L represent magnetic energy, and capacitor represent electrostatic energy. So when we have a circuit which contains all these three elements, and when we excite this circuit with AC source, we will have all these kind of energies or power present in this particular circuit. So we can broadly divide this power in two categories. One is this real power, which is in the form of heat, which is dissipated in resistance. And this real power is put like this here. And the other form of power is the reactive power, which is actually stored in the form of magnetic and electrostatic energy in inductor and capacitor. So there will be a phase difference of 90-degree between real power and reactive power, and why it is so, we will see it later. So when we combine these two power, we will get the complex power or the real power. This particular line is called the complex power also, or the magnitude of complex power is called apparent power. So as seen in the figure, this complex power or apparent power is the combination of this real power and reactive power. So if we write this down in the terms of mathematics, S will be equal to P plus JQ. J I have put because J or iota represent a 90-degree phase shift. You must be knowing through your mathematics knowledge. So when I write the magnitude of S, it means S square plus Q square. Here definitely, sorry, this is P. P square plus Q square. So P is the real power and Q is the reactive power. Now the unit of real power is watts. The unit of reactive power is called VAR, or volt ampere reactive, R for reactive. And apparent power is simply has a unit of VA, or volt amperes. Also, if you consider this angle theta, you will see that theta is nothing but tan inverse of Q divided by P, right? Now, according to the definition of power factor, it basically represents the energy efficiency in a particular electrical system, and it represents the ratio of this real power, which is P, to the magnitude of apparent power. So we can write it down as S, or it can also be called as apparent power. Okay, so this means that the amount of power that is dissipated under resistance, and when it is divided with the magnitude of the apparent power, it is called the power factor. So can you tell me what will be the value of this ratio P divided by magnitude of S through this diagram? What does this represent? It represents nothing but cos theta. If you see this diagram, this is theta angle. And what is cos theta? It is nothing but the ratio of P divided by the magnitude of S. So this is nothing but magnitude of S. So if I summarize it quickly, in any AC circuit, we have three types of power. One is apparent power, S, whose unit is VA, volt ampere. Other one is reactive power. Remember, this apparent power is also called complex power. Obviously, because it is the complex combination of P and Q. So other one is reactive power, which is Q. Its unit is VAR, volt ampere reactive. And the last one is real power. Real power is also called average power or active power, and it is represented by P, and its unit is watts, right? So finally, our power factor cos theta is nothing but the ratio of P and magnitude of S. This is our power factor. Now, what happens when we apply an AC source, an AC voltage source across a resistor? There will be a current IT flowing through it. So what will the value of IT? So according to the Ohm's law, you know that IT will be Vt upon R. So it will be equal to Vm upon R into sine omega t. So we can call this Vm by R as Im. So we can write IT is equal to Im sine omega t. So this is your equation 1. This is your equation 2. So can you tell me what will be the phase difference between the voltage waveform and current waveform? It will be 0, obviously, because both are sinusoidal without any phase difference. So the current and voltage across a resistor will both have the same phase, right? So from in this diagram, you can see that both these waves are in same phase, the voltage wave and the current wave. Now, what will be the value of instantaneous power? You know that PT is the multiplication of voltage and current. PT is Vt times IT. So it will be Vm into Im into sine square omega t, since I multiplied equation 1 and 2. So we can write this as Vm into Im divided by 2 into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. From simple trigonometric rules, you can represent a sine square omega t into 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2, right? So from this equation, you see that PT has two parts. One is this DC part and other one is this AC part. But one important thing to consider is that this AC part has a frequency of 2 omega. Remember, in the case of current and voltage, we were having the frequency of omega, but in the case of power, we are having that frequency of AC part has the frequency of 2 omega. So if we draw this power, which has a DC part and an AC part on this same scale as voltage and current, so we will see that the frequency of the oscillations are doubled, but it will have a DC part also. So the equation will be, since this is cos, so let us start it like this. So this whole waveform of cos should be ending in the one half cycle of this voltage or current. So that is why how it can be said as the double the frequency of voltage or current. So this is how the waveform will look like. Sorry for my diagram. It is not very clear, but I hope you understand the concept. So this is the waveform of PT. It will have double the frequency of either voltage or current. And since it is not centered around 0, this is the 0 line, because it has a DC part as well. So this DC part will raise the whole waveform at some particular DC level, right? So this is the concept. Now, if you have to calculate the average power in this circuit, so what is the definition of average? It is like this, right? So we will take one full time period and integrate it and then divide by that same time period. So just by simple logic, Just tell me what will happen if I take integration or I take average of this particular equation. What will happen to this part? This is having a periodic wave of cos 2 omega t. So in one cycle it is positive. What is cos? What is the waveform of cos? It is like that, right? It is a sinusoidal wave. So in one cycle it is positive and in other cycle it is negative. So what will be the what will be happening to the average of this particular waveform? Definitely it is going to be zero if you take average. So this whole thing is going to become zero. So what you will be left with, this is a constant, right? Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. What I have done is I have just divided this 2 in the multiplication of root 2 into root 2. So root 2 into root 2 becomes 2. So what I will be left with, just by simple common sense, you can say that the P average in this case will be Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. So do you remember from the sinusoidal wave RMS values? What was the formula of RMS value for any sinusoidal wave? It was Vm or Im by root 2. So these values are nothing but the RMS values of the voltage and currents, right? So we can say that average power or real power or active power in any circuit containing resistance R will be nothing but the multiplication of RMS value of voltage and currents, right? So this is the average power in a circuit containing resistor. Now what happens when we apply an AC source across an inductor? Let's assume the current that is flowing in this inductor is Im sin omega t. So from the equation of inductor, you know that Vt is equal to L dit by dt. Vt is equal to L di by dt. You already know. So if you put this equation here, what you will get? L omega Im into cos omega t, right? So the differentiation of sin omega t will be cos omega t, and this omega will come out, and already this L is multiplied, so we will get L omega Im cos omega t. So let's write this equation as equation 2. You know that we can write this cos omega t in terms of like this: sin omega t plus 90 degree, right? Sin omega t plus 90 is nothing but cos omega t. So when you compare this equation, this particular equation of Vt with this equation, you see that there is a 90-degree phase, leading phase in terms of, in the case of voltage with respect to the current. So you can say that this voltage in any circuit which is containing only a pure inductor, the voltage will be leading by 90 degree with respect to the current. So if I draw the phasor diagram for voltage and current, we will see that this is current, which is a sinusoidal, and for voltage we have to draw a wave which is leading by 90 degrees. So it will be like this. So this is represented by voltage. Now from your mathematics study, you know that you can represent this 90-degree angle in the form of this omega L Im sin omega t into e to the power j pi by 2. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding this particular phase, this represent the 90-degree phase, to this particular equation. And you also know that this e to the power j pi by 2 can be represented as cos pi by 2 plus j sine pi by 2, which means it will be nothing but equal to j or iota. So here this equation can be written as Vt is equal to, I can take this j, I can put j in place of here, and let us put it in the initially. So we will get j omega L into Im sine omega t. So you got this quantity j omega L. I will be calling this quantity as jxl. So xl is nothing but the magnitude of impedance of a pure inductor. So we can write this equation again as Vt is equal to jxl into Im sine omega t, or we can write jxl into it. So in this equation, let's call this particular thing as Vm. So from here, we will get as Vt is equal to j Vm sine omega t. Let's call this as equation 2, and my initial equation was it is equal to Im sine omega t. This was our equation 1. Now, if we want to calculate power, or rather instantaneous power, so what will be the value of instantaneous power? It will nothing but be the multiplication of Vt times it. So our power will become j Vm sine omega t into Im sine omega t. So let's put this particular thing, this j inside it. So we will again be getting Vm sine omega t plus 90 degree into Im sine omega t. So we can write this down as cos omega t. So what we will get? Vm Im sine omega t, this one, into cos omega t, that one. So you know the formula from mathematics that you can write sine omega t into cos omega t as Vm Im divided by 2 into sine 2 omega t. So your PT, or instantaneous power, in any inductor under steady state is written like this: Vm Im by 2 into sine 2 omega t. So what you can see is that this waveform is purely periodic. This waveform is purely sinusoidal. So if you, and also since this is 2 omega term here, it will have a frequency double than that of either voltage or current. So if you draw this particular waveform here on this same graph, you will see it like this. So my drawing is not up to the mark, but you will get an idea that the frequency is doubled of this power. This is PT, and since there is no DC value, we only have a sinusoidal part in the instantaneous power. The average value will be nothing but 0. So if we calculate the average value of this instantaneous power, we will get P average as 0. Obviously, because it is not having any DC value and it is perfectly sinusoidal wave. So what you get an idea from this outcome is that in inductor, what happens is when the current flows inside, the energy is stored in terms of magnetic field, and when the voltage goes to the negative cycle, the same energy is given back to the circuit. So what happens is the amount of energy that is being stored and then it is all given back to the circuit. This keeps happening during the charging and discharging, and no energy is wasted in an ideal inductor. So you see that the average power is 0. Now, when we talk about the power factor in this circuit, which is having only a pure inductor, So since from the definition of power factor, we knew that power factor is the ratio of the real power divided by magnitude of apparent power. But as we already knew that this real power was because of the power which was dissipated in resistor, and since we don't have any resistor here, this power should be zero. So the power factor must be equal to zero for a purely inductive circuit. So cos theta is obviously going to be zero. I think we forgot to mention the power factor in the previous resistor only circuit. Uh, Power factor for this circuit will definitely be again R divided by the magnitude of S. And since there is only one element here, so this magnitude of S should also be equal to R. As there is no other source, S is going to be equal to R. So this is going to be R divided by R. So the power factor is going to be 1. So in the case of pure resistor, cos theta is going to be 1. Now talking about a circuit with capacitor, let's take our voltage as Vm sin omega t, first equation. Now since we know that uh, for a capacitor, IT is equal to C dVt by dt. So if we put this thing in this equation, we get IT is equal to omega C Vm cos omega t. Now similar to the previous case, we can just write it as omega C Vm, sin omega t plus 90, which can directly be written as j omega c into Vm sin omega t. So as you can see, we got an equation for current. And if you compare this equation with this equation, you will see that in a capacitive circuit, the current leads the voltage by an angle of 90 degrees. So here clearly the current leads the voltage. And if we draw this in waveform form, we will get an image like this. Here clearly you can see that current leads by an angle 90 degree from the voltage. Now coming back to equation 2, if we rearrange this like this, as since this whole thing Vm sin omega t is nothing but Vt, we can write as Vt is equal to 1 upon j omega c it. So this equation can again be written as Vt is equal to minus j upon omega c into it. And let me call this 1 by omega c term as xc. So we will have Vt is equal to minus j xc into it. Now, if you remember in the case of inductor, this equation came out to be j xl into it. And in case of resistor, it was V is equal to R into it. So if you compare these three equations, you can clearly find a phase relationship between these three components, the resistance, the inductive and capacitive reactances. So if I draw a phasor relationship between resistance, inductive and capacitive reactances, it can be drawn like this. So this could be R, and you can clearly see that in the case of inductor, the inductive reactance is JXL. So J means 90-degree positive phase. So with respect to this R, the direction of XL should be like this. And let me add J. And the direction of similarly XC will be minus JXC like this. So basically inductive and capacitive reactances are in phase opposition, and they both are at 90-degree from resistance. Now coming back to the voltage and currents across capacitor, we had found that IT is equal to omega C Vm cos omega t, and let us call this thing as Im since these are constants. So we will have IT is equal to Im cos omega t. Now if we want to find the instantaneous power PT, it will be nothing but the multiplication of Vt into IT. Sorry. So we will get Vm Im sine omega t into cos omega t. Similarly, as in the previous case, we will have here as Vm into Im divided by 2 sine 2 omega t. So this is the instantaneous power that is saved in a capacitor. And similar to the case of inductor, if we calculate P average, it is going to be definitely 0 because this is only a sinusoidal wave, this instantaneous power. And if you want to draw this in diagram, it is going to be similar to the case of inductor one. So it will be like this. Definitely the frequency of instantaneous power is going to be double than that of the frequency of voltage and current in a capacitive circuit. And average power is definitely going to be 0 since this is a pure sinusoidal wave and its average is going to be 0. Now similar to the previous case, the power factor is, as we already know, it is the ratio of active power to that of magnitude of apparent power. And since there is no resistor in this circuit, this active power is going to be 0 and hence the power factor is going to be 0. So the value of cos theta is 0 in the case of pure capacitive circuit. Now coming back to series RL circuit, when we apply KVL in this circuit, we get V is equal to I into R plus I into JXL. As you know that JXL is the impedance of a pure inductor. So if we take I as common, we will get R plus JXL. So this whole thing can be combined in a single impedance and can be called as Z, and its value will be R plus JXL. So we can write it as I into Z. So if you see, this Z is a complex quantity and it is a combination of the real quantity of R and the inductive reactance of JXL. So if we draw it in phasor, we can draw it like this. So this can be your R, this can be your XL, which is a 90-degree phase shifted with respect to R. And the combination of these two phasors is going to be what? Your Z. And let us call this angle to be theta. Now, if we consider this equation, this I into R, we can call it as VR as shown here. And this I into JXL, we can call it as VL, right, as shown here. So similar to this particular phasor, since this voltage is nothing but the multiplication of current in either R or JXL. If we multiply I in this particular phasors, we are going to get similar phasor of your VR, sorry, and this will be your VL, and the combination of these two is going to be what? Nothing but the V. So this is going to be your V. So the final voltage is going to be the summation of the two phasors, voltage phasors of VR and VL. So these two phasor diagrams are exactly similar. Only difference is that I is multiplied in this particular phasor to get this, right? Now, as you can see that this current is flowing in this one single circuit, right? This current is flowing in this one single circuit. So, as we have already discussed, that if a current flows through a resistor, then the phases of current and the voltage drop across resistor has the same phase. They do not have different phases, or there is no lagging or leading between the voltage and currents in a particular resistance. So the whatever the phase of VR will be the phase of this current flowing in this particular circuit. So in this particular diagram, let me change the color. We can say that the phase of current is also exactly in the same direction as the phase of VR. So from here, what you can see is that in this RL circuit, this voltage V is having an angle difference of theta with respect to I. And since this angle is moving in anti-clockwise direction, so we can say that V leads the current, or voltage leads the current in an RL circuit by an angle of theta. Now, can you tell me what is the value of this theta? Can you guess? By using simple mathematics, either from here or from here, you can simply say that theta is nothing but tan inverse of XL divided by R. Or you can also say that theta is nothing but tan inverse VL divided by VR. So VL is nothing but I into XL, and VR is nothing but I into VR. Now, since we already know that Z is equal to R plus JXL, so if we multiply both sides by I square, where I is the RMS current in the circuit, we will get I square, sorry, I square Z is equal to I square R plus I square JXL. So this particular thing is called apparent power, which is S, and this is called I square R is called active power P, and plus if we take this J out, so this I square into XL is called reactive power due to the inductance. So we can write it as QL. So we already discussed about S. This is the multiplication of voltage and current in RMS, and its its value, its unit is volt ampere. We write it as VA, and this is our active power, and its unit is watts. And this is our reactive power, and its unit is VAR. So similar to the phasors of impedance and voltage, we can draw a phasor of power also. So this can become your active power P. And as you can see, this QL component is in 90-degree phase from P. So QL can be made like this. And obviously the combination of these two phasors is nothing but the apparent power. And this angle is also going to be the same theta, because the equation is same. Only what you have done is you have multiplied I square in both sides of the equation. So from here also you can write your cos theta to be P divided by magnitude of S, and further we can write sin theta as QL divided by magnitude of S. So this cos theta is nothing but power factor of the circuit. Now from here we can, since we know that S is equal to VI, where V and I both are RMS values of voltage and currents respectively, we can say that P is equal to mod S into cos theta, which is nothing but VI cos theta. And similarly, from here, we can say that Q is equal to mod S sin theta, or sorry, this is actually QL in this case, which means QL is equal to VI sin theta. If we talk about the magnitude of reactive power and active power. So this P is your active power and this QL is your reactive power, right? Now coming to series RC circuit, if we apply KVL, we will get V is equal to IR minus J XC into I. So if we take this I as common, we will get R minus J XC. And you already know that XC is 1 upon omega C. And in the case of inductor, XL was omega L. So similar to the previous case, this IR can be called as VR, and this minus JXC into I can be called as VC. So remember, this VC is a negative value with respect to VR. So if we draw the phasor diagram of this particular thing, let's first call this R minus JXC as Z. This whole thing will be the impedance of this circuit as Z. So we can call that Z is equal to R minus JXC. So if we draw the phasor diagram, similar to the previous case, this is going to be your R. And remember, since it has got minus J multiplied to the XC, the phase is going to be in the negative direction. So this is going to be your XC. And when you add these two phasors, you are going to get Z, and this angle is the theta. So similarly, you can draw this phasor for voltages. In the direction of R, we are going to have VR, and definitely in the direction of XC, we are going to have VC, and the combination of these two will give us the total voltage V of the circuit, right? So if we want to find out this theta, theta is nothing but tan inverse R divided by XC. And I'm not worrying about the negative or positive signs. Since I've taken this as theta, I'm just writing it tan inverse R by XC. Or you can write tan inverse VR upon VC. And similar to the previous case, if you multiply in this particular equation I square in both the sides, you are going to get S is equal to P minus J QC, right? So if you want to draw the phasor for powers here, this is going to be your QC and this is going to be your P. And obviously the combination of these two is going to be your apparent power S, right? So basically the thing is that the phasor for impedance The phasor for voltage and the phasor for power is going to be the same. The angle theta is going to be the same. Only is that this formula will be changed in the three phasors. So here you can write tan inverse P divided by QC. Now adding to the voltage phasor, you know that this current I is flowing through this circuit. So definitely the phase difference, the phase of current and VR is going to be the same. So we can say that the current phase will be in this direction. And since you can see that the voltage phasor is in clockwise direction at an angle theta with respect to I, so we can say that the voltage now lags the current by an angle of theta. So here in the RC circuit, the voltage lags current by angle theta. So and what is the range of this angle theta? It is greater than 0 and less than 90 degree. All right. Now, if we talk about series RLC circuit, uh, let us first write the KVL equation. So we will get V is equal to IR plus JXL into I minus JXC into I. So this is nothing but VR, this is VL, and this is VC. So if we take I as common, we will get I into R plus, let us take J as common, and here we will get XL minus XC. So this is our equation of voltage and current. So from here, we can call this whole thing, the combination of whole thing as Z. We are calling it as Z. Now, the polarity of this particular part, whether it will be positive J or it will be negative J, it will depend on the values of XL and XC. So in the first case, if XL is greater than XC, so what will happen is, let us call, let me change the color first. Let us call this as X net. So if XL is greater than XC, then definitely this X net, which is equal to XL minus XC, is going to be positive. So what we will get is, we will get V is equal to I into R plus JX net. So this case is nothing but the RL circuit case. So everything is going to be similar as the RL circuit we just studied. And now if we about case 2, if XL is less than XC, then X net, which is equal to XL minus XC, is going to be negative. So in this case, V is equal to I R minus JX net. So this case is nothing but the case of RC circuit we just done. We just did the RC circuit and everything is going to be the same for this particular thing. Only thing is that this XC is replaced by XNet and here the XL is replaced by XNet. Okay. In the last case, if XL is equal to XC, tell me what will happen. If XL is equal to XC, this XNet, which is XL minus XC, is going to be 0. So you will be left Z is equal to only R. So we already did the case of purely resistive circuit, AC source across purely resistive circuit. So this is going to be the same. So before we move further, let us quickly draw the phasor diagram for the impedances. So this is going to be your R. This is, this is going to be your XL, and right in the opposite direction is going to be your XC. And let us assume the first case where XL is greater than XC. So in according to first case, we are going to have a little bit of a positive X net value, and our final impedance is going to be the combination of R and X net, and we will get our angle as theta, and the value of this angle theta is going to be tan inverse X net divided by R, right? And this is going to be your Z. Now, before we move ahead, let me tell you that the power factor is of three types. One is leading power factor, and it is when the current in the circuit leads the voltage. So the whether the power factor is leading or lagging or unity, it depends on the phase of current with respect to voltage. So if the current leads the voltage, the power factor is leading. And in what kind of circuit the current leads the voltage? It is the capacitive circuit. So in capacitive circuits, the power factor is always leading. Now, the lagging power factor is when the current lags voltage. And when is that? It is in inductive circuits. And third and the last case is unity power factor, is when current and voltage are in same phase. So in that case, obviously, what kind of circuit is this? This is a resistive circuit. So we calculated power factor for resistive circuits and found it to be cos theta is equal to 1. So from this result itself, it can be said that this is unity power factor. So leading, lagging, and unity power factor.